Hi everyone, this is Jess, aka Sketchwriter Jess. Today is Twin Flame Tuesday, and this reading will deal with creative relationships. Any twin flame relationship where the two people are creative, whether it's music, art, writing, writing a book together or something. That is the mission for the twin flames in this collective for this reading, because that's the relationship I'm on too. So I'm going to be able to tap into that energy. Now, I would say this particular reading is not for fiction writers. This is for memoir writers. This is for anybody journaling for themselves, creative writers, poets, anything where the person is telling a truthful story. So, if that is you, then I would stick around. There is a journaling portion later on in the video. After I look up everything in a book that I have, I look up all the definitions, and then I talk about what I believe the reading says. And then I journal, and that's when I invite you to journal. And that's how it works. So, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to knock the energy out of the cards. And I'm going to ask Spirit a question. Angel Uriel, Cal, Mombasa, and Chuck, please help us find the best way to attract the right people into our lives to fulfill our creative mission. Okay. This spread contains 3 parts, contains a masculine part, feminine part, and a theme. The masculine has a past, present, and future. The feminine does as well. And then the theme has 2 cards for it. It has the card from the bottom of the deck, and then it has the card from beneath it. Alright, so now I'm going to tell you what each of the cards are. For the past, for the man, the masculine, we have the Knight of Cups. For the present, for the man, we have the Page of Pentacles. And for the future of the man, we have the 3 of Pentacles reversed. And I'll show you this like this so you can see what it is. So here it is reversed again. For the woman, for the past, we have the World. For the present for her, the feminine, we have the 5 of Wands reversed. So this is what it looks like upright. 5 of Wands reversed. And then for her future, she's got the 10 of Swords. And then for the theme, for the mission of the theme, we have the 8 of Wands reversed. So this is what it looks like when it's upright. There it is reversed again. And then we also have the 8 of Cups. And you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to pull one more card. So we'll have a mission, what it started out with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull a card. Okay, that's better. Because what we have here is then past, present, and here's the future. The Empress. And I think that works. So there's 3 cards for each part. Now let's get started with looking everything up. I look everything up in my journal. This has meanings of all the cards. This is the Rider Tarot deck. So I used the instruction booklet that came with that to get all the meanings. And then once I get a feeling for cards, sometimes like I have extra meanings that I apply. Sometimes there are words I may not know exactly what they are, so I look them up in my dictionary. So here we go. Knight of Cups. This is for the past. And what I do is I always write the cards in the book. So today is the 18th of June 2019. And this is the Twin Flame spread. So for the Knight of Cups, I want to say arrival. With the Page of Pentacles here. Advances. Even advances on somebody. Advances towards someone. This is a relationship spread. Okay. So, leave that there. Now, I'm going to do the Page of Pentacles. So this is for the present. That other one was for the past. And say application. With the Three of Pentacles there, there's a craftsman in there. How about scholarship? Somebody studying something. Page usually is a student. Doesn't necessarily mean he has to be young. I mean, he could be middle-aged with the Knight. So, I know a lot of people say young, but I don't believe that. I think especially with the Knight of Cups, he could be young, but he has like an old soul with all that depth of feeling. So we'll go with that. And now we have, for the future, we have the Three of Pentacles. And it's really more, not the future, but more like what they're thinking of for the future. What's on their mind when they think of the future. And that one is reversed. Three of Pentacles reversed. Okay. I'm going to put down mediocre work. Okay. Maybe not fulfilling promises. With all these other cards, but I'm going to say not fulfilling promises. In the picture, the man that's working, I mean, he's got the attention of the monk and the patron that has been donating to the church. And in this case, you know, with it reversed, he could have disappointed them somehow. He might not have followed through on what he said he was going to do. Okay, so then we go on to the next one with the feminine. Feminine, we have the World for the past. Let's say I think we're going to say Voyage. Voyage is in the definitions, and I'm going to look that up and see if there's anything else that can delve into it better. Passage. Yeah, passage. These other cards here. I almost feel like the Five of Wands is always like a rite of passage. The card has these kids playing. They're playing in a battle. Now it's reversed. So I'm not sure. I forget exactly what the reverse means. But it's almost like a rite of passage to be able to play with the kids on the playground kind of thing. So, and then with the Ten of Swords, I mean, certainly that goes to another place, dark place. So now, got the Five of Wands. And put down disputes. And I'm also going to look up litigation. I think there could be some things there, because litigation is one of the words, one of the meanings. To contest in law. I think perhaps contest in not life, but maybe contest a decision. Okay, and for the future we have the Ten of Swords. So this is for the future. We have tears, sadness, affliction, I think would work here. Especially with disputes. Feeling like people are accusing you of something, like you are carrying something around that people are upset with. I say desolation. So she's afraid she's going to be left alone. Okay, so now for the theme of the mission. For the past, we have 8 of Wands reversed. Internal dispute. So these people might have both had something like that. So I'm just going to put that down, as they both had that. Remember, they're two souls that are connected. Some people say that they're one soul and they're split, but I'm not sure that's really possible. I mean, it could be possible, but I don't know. My theory is that it's two souls that are very close. They almost have a way of kind of connecting, being telepathic, feeling what the other one is feeling, empathic with each other. Okay, so we have the 8 of Cups as the present. Leaving a bad situation with honor. I don't even have to look that one up. And the last one we have the Empress. That's for the future. what they're thinking of for the future. Difficulty, and I'm going to say action. Almost like they're going to just get their start on something. So, when we come back, we'll start the writing portion. Okay, I'm back. Now, we start the writing portion. Before we actually start writing, I like to go into what I think is happening in this spread. Plus, I like to pull a card from Notes from the Universe as a writing prompt. And then that ties everything together when I actually start writing. So, I'm going to say for the twin flame, for the masculine, in the past, let me get my book that I wrote everything in. He's made advances towards the women that he loves. Very emotional. Then, as the Page of Pentacles, now usually the page is young man, like a very young man, but in this case, I'm going to say it's more like it was like his first time branching out into being emotional with women. And maybe in the past he had been more like into flings and that kind of thing, and this time he was more open to bringing something to a real relationship, but it was his first time, you know. And it doesn't mean like a virgin, I mean more like first time as in really opening up to somebody, promising them something that they would work on and make the relationship work. And then for the future, I'm going to say, well, he's worried he can't deliver on the promises. So I know that's very general. However, I think if you are thinking about the men in your past, perhaps there's a person who seemed like they had so much to offer, and then it just fell through. And now I've had that happen. But I think there's so many different ways it can happen. You know, it's not like somebody just they decide not to talk to you or no contact. It's more like they give up on a relationship. They find that the relationship is difficult to keep up, and so they just stop. They just stop doing what they had originally started. And considering the Three of Pentacles has to do with people of renown, people who are pillars of the community, perhaps this person was involved with somebody who was a pillar of the community, and maybe they didn't think that they had what it took to keep them. That can happen. Now, he is a knight, so he certainly has it in him to be valiant and win. However, he doesn't see himself as a knight. He sees himself as a page. He sees him as somebody who can deliver something, but they're not ready to quite deliver all of it, all of what they have to do. So at this point, they're not ready to be part of the mission. So I would say the masculine is working on himself. He's trying to figure out how he can, use his emotions properly, how he can connect properly to the woman that he wants to be with. Now for the woman, the feminine, she's worldly, so this could be the woman, the patron, the pillar of the community. This woman is of the world. She is somebody who could be well traveled. She could be even well admired by people. She's got the whole world in her hands, literally. When you see the woman in this card, she's got like these batons or something, and like she's twirling in the air. She's connected to everything. She's connected to all of nature. She's natural. And perhaps she does something with nature. She could be a pillar of the community who does things with the earth. And that would be in mission with doing something better for the environment. Like that would be a mission for twin flames, I think, would be if they were doing something for the environment. And like anything, it could be cleaning things up, it could be writing literature about how to take care of it, it could be doing something with animals, although I'm not really seeing that with the male. We'll see what else is here. So the next part, for the present, there's disputes on a decision that she's made. There could be something where she was doing something, she was working or she was on her travels and she came across people and didn't agree with their way of life. Perhaps they were doing something bad to the environment and she didn't like it. And it made her want to figure out who she could find to help her, because it feels like it's too much for her to handle on her own. So I think now we can move on to the Ten of Swords. She feels isolated, she feels alone, she feels like she can't solve this problem on her own, she doesn't know the right way to solve the problem. Now, with this male, with being with the pillar of the community, and it's in a church, so it could be something spiritual, but there's like a workman in there and he's working on the church, so I'm thinking it's related to the arts, but something with spiritual and art connected. Woman of the world can also be spiritual and connected. She could be any religion. She could be any religion, and so can he. However, I'm thinking with the church, perhaps they both believe in a religion that has one God and one church, or a synagogue. It could be either one. So I'm thinking for these two to get together to complete their mission, they both have to come to terms with their decisions and things. Whereas the Knight of Cups has to deal with emotion. This woman, the Wands card is here, so she's more about impulse. And she has to be careful that she doesn't make impulsive decisions. That when she does make impulsive decisions, she thinks about what she's doing and realizes there's consequences to it. So let's look at the top theme. We have the Eight of Wands reversed. Internal disputes, yes. I mean, that's the past. But it could be what's been leading up to the present was they were having all these feelings of like really thinking they knew exactly what they needed to do to get their mission done as they were single. And they're finding that they were having some issues with themselves when it came to that. For the Eight of Cups, we have leaving a bad situation with honor. It's possible that both these people were realizing that they weren't ready. Like the Five of Wands has these guys play fighting. They're making a battle out of nothing. They're just playing around. And the Page, you have the Page, and he's young. You know, he's young at heart. And I think they could be people who realized that they weren't ready to complete their mission, and they certainly couldn't complete it on their own. So then the final difficulty in action, that the Empress is all about fulfillment and abundance. And these people, their fear is that they're always going to have difficulties. What they don't realize is that when they get together with the Empress as the final say on what could happen, they can achieve great things. If I wanted to be exact, I really believe that this does have to do with the environment. This has to do perhaps with making some kind of place where people can gather in nature, and they can have weddings, they can do things that will help. It's the kind of thing where they make a space that enhances people's lives. So I think these people would do that. I think they would come together and they would make beautiful wedding spaces for people. And that's certainly wonderful to do as a mission for people. So I think that would be what I was thinking. Now I'm going to shuffle the universe cards and see what I can get for this to round it out. What can we get from learning about using nature to help our mission, with twin flames, to help our mission with twin flame relationships? We can put it that way so it's not so specific. I'm just going to pull one card. Okay, we have love in spite of it all. That's what it looks like. I'm reading it now. Before this odyssey ever began, there was you, your best friends, and wide-eyed curiosity among you about who would be the first to leap, the first to forget the first kiss, the first to tell, the first to fall, the first to get back up, and the first to remember that it all began with a dare. To love in spite of it all. Is that you, Murgatroyd, the universe? P.S. I remember the glint in your eyes. All three of them. That's very interesting. Yeah, I think for these two people, perhaps they were trying to use logic and their heart, and as I've been told by friends, in the tarot community, you have to use your gut, you have to use your intuition, and perhaps these people were thinking too much about everything. Especially with the swords, the Ten of Swords. I mean, that is definitely thought energy, that is feeling defeated by your own thoughts. There's no blood. There's no blood here. All these swords are in this guy, and he is lying there, and it's all in his head. It's all in his head. He thought he was stabbed in the back. He thought he couldn't move on from whatever's going on. So, now it's time to write. what I like to do is I like to write a poem with my left hand and a prose poem with my right. And I'm going to just write. I'm just going to write them. And then when writing time is up, my poem and prose poem will be finished and I will read to you what I have. So I invite you to write in your journal. Alright, I finished the poem. Now I'm going to read it. He's afraid to make a move that goes against how he feels. She's confident she knows everything that needs to be done. They are realizing they aren't grown enough to follow through on their calling with their twin flame. Together they can work on their mission of spiritual places for people to commune with the outdoors. A place where people can settle their internal disputes. People can leave the word behind to allow themselves to shine alone and with their love, their soulmate. So I think what we can take away from this one is we have love in spite of it all. Despite all the worry, despite all the pain, despite all the feeling like you're not good enough to be with somebody else. You can work on yourself, and then you can attract the right person who you can build a life with and who you can complete a mission with. You know, a mission that will help the world. In this case, I believe it has to do with nature and communing with nature. Anything from weddings to just retreats, you know, people going on retreats with the world. You know, it's travel and that kind of thing, being connected to everything. So a spiritual retreat could be the kind of thing that would work. There's lots of people who do something like that, and I think that's a great way to contribute to society. So my notes are on Instagram. They'll be up about an hour after this airs, and I put the cards in the notes, and then I put the poem in the comments. And you can comment on the YouTube video. However, I'm more likely to get back to you on Instagram. So if you've watched the video, if you follow my feed, I'd love to hear your feedback. I think this really came out nice. This is good for everybody. I like this. So yeah, I'm Sketchwriter Jess on Instagram, and I'll see you tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday. Bye.